Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/JustNoMil. In today's episode, my MIL told my husband to divorce me during IVF. My MIL and my husband put us in a terrible financial situation. MIL threw a Mother's Day barbecue and didn't invite me. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. My MIL told my husband to divorce me during IVF. I had always thought that my MIL liked me and that I got along very well with her. Until last week. My husband and I were married last June. We had talking about hopefully having kids, so we went straight to IVF due to our ages: 39 for me, 43 for him. I won't lie, I was surprised at how hard the IVF process was emotionally and mentally for me. Lots of ups and downs, including one miscarriage. I did become depressed from it. Since we've gotten married, my husband has been suffering from extreme anxiety. He's just stressed about everything: life, work, etc. He has been talking to someone about it and started taking meds for it. Last weekend my FIL stopped by and expressed concern that our place was very cluttered. Not unhygienic, but cluttered. On Monday my MIL called me and started yelling at me that I was the source of all of his stress, that I needed therapy, etc. To be fair, I am in therapy as infertility has stressed me out, but this conversation was not done with good intentions or like an intervention. The conversation was her yelling at me saying if they had known I was like this, that they never would have told him to marry me. I tried to explain that both of us have a lot of stress, but she kept saying that he wasn't like this before we got married. When I came home following the phone call, my husband asked for a divorce. My MIL and SAL had talked to him, and now they think all of his anxiety will go away as soon as we're divorced. Edit: he doesn't want to try couples counseling. Since he asked for the divorce, he hasn't seen me or spoken to me. I had my third egg retrieval 3 days later. Sounds like the trash is taking itself out. You deserve so much better than a grown man who decides to divorce you because mommy says so. Honestly, I would choose some donor sperm and keep going with my single mother journey. Let him and his toxic family go. Honestly, I'd keep those eggs and go for a different sperm donor so baby won't be connected to them and you can have a divorce and clean break from them all. Don't stop your dreams of having a baby for a man-child. Take this as a sign that you can do it and you don't need him. He isn't the right person for you if he listens to his parents like that. I hope you have a gentle future. Opie, I'm so terribly sorry. No advice, but I hope there's a child in your future, with or without this man and his toxic parents. You don't deserve this abuse. I don't think a marriage to a man so weak that he's willing to divorce because mommy tells him to is worth saving. Can you imagine life with his family if you do have a baby with him? Your husband is a 43-year-old man whose parents tell him who to marry and divorce. Let that sink in. Agreed, why does mommy and daddy have to dictate his life? This here is the real takeaway. If they had known I was like this, that they never would have told him to marry me. I hate saying this, Opie, but I don't think you were ever his primary concern. Looks like your entire relationship may be based on his family telling him to do stuff. Your ILs are clearly an influencing factor here, but your husband is a grown middle-aged man. Sorry, 43 is middle-aged and I'm around the same. He is having mental health issues and the stress of conceiving probably isn't helping him. Stop focusing on the IL interactions and work to understand why your husband is making this decision. My guess, he doesn't want to continue fertility treatments or has changed his mind about having children. And if that is the case and you can't envision a future that consists of just the two of you, divorce is sadly the best option. I'm so sorry that your husband failed you. Situations like this are never easy. I am hoping that your life takes a major turn for the better and happier. My MIL and my husband put us in a terrible financial situation. 2020 my husband and I needed a new car. We were looking everywhere, comparing prices, looking for something reliable but affordable. I wanted to go with a used, older car from a small car lot so that it would be affordable. My mother-in-law insisted that we go to a large dealership that a friend recommended, and my husband agreed. We got there and they showed us a really pretty SUV that only had 7 miles on it. We took it for a test drive and it was great. Dual cabin temperature controls, rear view camera, Bluetooth, heated seats, and a third row. But it was way out our price ran at over $600 a month for the car note. I told my husband to come talk to me outside, and he agreed with me that we couldn't afford it and that we either needed to see something less expensive or go somewhere else. Then my mother-in-law shows up and says, "OMG, this car is amazing. You guys need to get this car or I'm gonna get it and you can just co-sign it." And when I explained to her that we could not afford it, she offered to pay half of the car note every month. I told my husband that I didn't think this was a good idea and we should talk about it more. He completely ignored me and decided to take his mom up on this, even though she has terrible spending habits and is generally unreliable. Surprise, surprise, they both signed for the car. I refused because I didn't want my name on it. Needless to say, a few months later, she stopped paying her half and now our car is probably going to be repossessed. We can't afford it and my husband is like, "It's okay, we'll just get a cheap car from a lot and it'll be fine." He isn't even thinking about the fact that this is going to be tens of thousands of dollars on his credit score. And that since we're married, if we ever want to buy a house or anything like that, I'm going to be affected by this too. That he ignored and dismissed my concerns and hasn't asked or confronted his mom for backing out on what he offered. He's acting like he's getting us out of this unfortunate situation we just happened to fall into, when reality him and his mother put us here. I'm freaking angry. You sure you want to stay with someone who chooses to take his mommy's opinion over yours? He won't even have a conversation with her about her actions? Seriously, why stay with someone who has no respect for you? Sell the car ASAP. Cars are ridiculously overpriced right now. List it for sale and pay off the lien immediately. CarMax/Carvana the value of the car right now and see if you can get anything close to what you owe. Used SUV prices are insane right now, and you might get lucky and be able to get out from under it before it gets repoed. They'll deal with the bank payout and you'll get what, if anything, is left. Wow, I didn't expect this to get as many comments as it did. I'm going to try to reply to a lot of them here, and I'll ask a couple questions about some of the advice I've gotten in the replies. The car is already behind in payments. It is in danger of being repossessed in the next few weeks. I'm not sure why his mom felt the need to go to the dealership with us. There was no way I was letting him go without me to purchase something that expensive without me there to at least voice my opinion. I feel disrespected by him for valuing his mother's opinion and trusting her unreliable word over my discomfort and opinion. I feel disrespected by her for negating what I say, convincing my husband to make such a large purchase that will ultimately affect us for nearly a decade if I stay married to him. I don't trust him right now, and I don't trust her either. He ended up finally calling his mother after I lost my cool and told him how screwed up this situation was again. I don't know if this was just to try and shut me up or if he is finally grasping how serious this really is. Either way, he finally asked her if she could fulfill her promise that she offered, and she said that she doesn't have it. That she's sorry she can't help. I don't think it's helping when he never would have purchased the car if she hadn't blatantly ignored me and convinced my husband to get this. From what I understand, every vehicle she's owned has been repossessed. I also forgot to mention that she bought herself a new car after agreeing to make the payments on this one, but before she stopped holding up her end. Of course, my husband decided to co-sign that one for her, also going against my wishes. She asked my husband to trade cars with her for a weekend so she could pick up some furniture. She had our car for like 3 to 4 months, even though I said they needed to switch back. Turns out she was trying to avoid her car getting repossessed, and they ended up taking it from our home. She was able to get it back only because her boss paid for it to come out of repo. As of right now, he is probably going to cash out his 401k, pay off what he's behind, and then trade it for something cheaper. Regardless of what he does, I have a lot of thinking to do. I appreciate all of the advice. I appreciate all of the kind words, the virtual hugs, and the support. I will update this when something happens. You have a much bigger husband problem than male problem. You're seriously underreacting, Imo. Sell the car back. OP. You are not overreacting. If anything, I think you may want to consult a lawyer about as fast as you can. You want to see how this is going to affect you. I would also think you may want to go to a bank and consult with a banker, pull your credit, see what all is there. That being said, I would also suggest that while at the bank, maybe set up a new bank account, separate and not attached to any account that your husband is on. Then start working and putting money into it. Steady and fully, where you have a good bit of control. This is your rainy day, it is an emergency, time to exit kind of funds that are present. And the funny thing about this is that what your husband fails to understand is he has locked both of you into where you are living. Auto repossessions can and will affect him a lot more than he can imagine, be it from, say, a new place to live, to loans, and yes, even employment. Yeah, the really good jobs, you cannot have too much on your credit reports, or they will not consider hiring a person. Bad credit means risk that the employer will not take. Oh yeah, it is going to be rough. The other thing, do not under any circumstance do you want to drive that SUV. It's really hard when you look up and discover that you're the other woman in your own marriage. You are not overreacting. Your spouse who is supposed to be on your side has done you real harm in order to make his mommy happy and won't even admit it. Your first sentence just punched me in the gut. I wish therapy was less expensive. MIL threw a Mother's Day barbecue and didn't invite me. My MIL offered to take care of our baby this past weekend so that I could have a break and relax on Mother's Day. My Mother's Day gift would be getting to spend time with my grandchild, and your Mother's Day gift would be getting a break. That's how she presented the offer. Cool. Awesome. My husband and I took time off work and spent Friday evening relaxing and Saturday morning getting yard work done. We were in their area Saturday evening and decided to stop by and say goodnight to our baby. My in-laws were literally in the backyard talking to family and friends while our baby was being passed around by aunts and uncles. We quickly learned that this was an early Mother's Day barbecue that neither my husband nor I even knew about. Forget being invited, I would have just liked to have known this was happening, especially considering the fact that she had my baby. I mean, she invited a lot of family and friends, so I'm still not sure how she expected this to be kept under wraps. Upon arrival, we had family members coming up to us and saying things like, "We're surprised you're here. We thought you were too tired to make it," or, MIL's name, said you were too exhausted to come. My husband was quick to confront his parents in front of everyone. It was a little messy. We took our baby home that night. Just wanted to vent. I'm still seething. I feel like my anger is justified, but I've had friends tell me otherwise, which pisses me off even more. If you don't think my anger is justified, I'm open to hearing what you have to say. The fact that she told people you were tired? Dude, that was a bit malicious. Yeah, that part really set me off. She made it sound like she tried to invite us. I feel like it also was an attempt to make me look like a bad mom or daughter-in-law. I'd have made darn sure every person there knew I'd been offered a child-free /gift to her baby time weekend, and was not aware of the barbecue. There's 3 things that I would be enraged by. The fact that your child was at a party and meeting people without you knowing. The fact that you weren't invited to the party but apparently the rest of the family were. The lies. The lies to you about why your child was there and the lies to others about why you weren't there. On the topic of point number 1, I'm also just gonna add that it's during a pandemic when cases are spiking. If I were the son, I'd make a scene in front of everyone she'd never forget. I would have your husband there in the room with you for that phone call so she can't call him up later and make false claims about what you said during that conversation. She threw an entire barbecue party for Mother's Day with your baby as the star of the party, and as the mother of said infant, you were not invited. That's the only thing you should be saying to anyone who asks why you are not talking to her. Yes, you've every right to be angry and even more to put her in time out for however long you, not anyone else with an opinion, think she deserves for that blatant EFFU to the birth mother of child she was showing off. The time and effort of the deceit is not unnoticed and deserves attention since it isn't just a little nothing party with coffee and cookies. I'm furious on your behalf. Anyone who told you otherwise, ignore them, it wasn't done to them and they aren't getting the why of it. She manipulated you, she lied to you, she exposed your baby to a multitude of germs and illnesses and personalities, she overrode any questions or responses without giving you any recourse. I'm glad you left and took the babe home. I wonder how the phone call went. I suspect justification, excuses and whining followed by angry tears. Good luck. Oh hell no. She excluded you so she could be the one showing off your baby. For me, that would be one long time out and no more unsupervised babysitting for MIL. That's exactly what my husband thinks, that she wanted to show off our baby without us around. But I'm not sure why. What kind of hindrance would we have been? I would not have minded her bragging about her grandchild or showing him off. Why did she jump through all these hoops? She thought she was very slick, pretending to want alone time when really what she wanted was to be Grandma of the Year for an adoring crowd. She didn't even tell the truth, but said you were too tired to be there because she knew how weird it looked. This would be the last time she would ever have the opportunity to do that. I would be 100% upset. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.